Breaking news, Hawks have confirmed that a whole judge today, the 26th of November 2025, was arrested. Now, there's a journalist that worked on this story that we need to give credit to, but let's start here. Newsroom Africa reported, breaking news, the Hawks have confirmed 4 arrests, including a judge and a church leader, on charges of corruption and money laundering. Now, remember July 6, when General Mkhwanazi said, there's corruption in the judicial. Do you remember how the judicial reacted? We'll come back to that. Because the judicial created a picture that a judicial can never be corrupted. They even cited the issues of oath. Here we take an oath, as if an oath can protect, or as if an oath prevent people from committing corruption. That's what we heard from the letter. I have the letter today. There's a journalist that worked on that story. This is the journalist who worked on that story. So let's give him credit. But I'm going to give you the name of the magistrate. I'm going to show you the picture of a magistrate. I'm going to show you the picture of the church leader that has been arrested. Other things that I want you to focus on is the following. This guy, he worked on the story. As he was working on the story, revealing that he was going to expose this thing, the lawyers that happens to represent the church as well as the judge sent him a letter. Part of the things that were said was the fact that they are saying they represent Judge P.D. Pahlane in a high-profile defamation claim, seeking the amount is there in damages. So they were seeking exorbitant amount of money against this journalist. They are saying that the inconclusive nature of the conflict and ethical duties. They went on to say that you know what I'm saying? All these were sent to the journalist, saying to him he should stop with this thing they considered insanity. He should stop doing all of those things. Sent letters, on those letters they cited a lot of things. Demand as what litigation, abuse of process, timing, demand. You know what I'm saying? It's on your screen. You will read it yourself. The point that I'm driving home is, before things got to this arrest that you are now seeing, things were once tough there, right? They also spoke about the fact that the factual rebuttal of the Sonko group demand, you know what I'm saying? 290,000. The journalist was gonna be sued for days here. Technically, they were saying we wanna make an example. We wanna make you an example, right? They also sent a material fact introduction of a Judge Pahlane, right? Destruction of the chronological defense, all of those things. I'm just proving one thing here, that there has been multiple letters, there have been letters that were sent to make sure that the journalist doesn't continue with the story, but he tweeted. I followed the story. I've been following the story. He tweeted and he said, this journalist said, I see all of this. In fact, for me to know about these letters, it is because he posted those things, and I saved them, and I was like, I'm going to come back to this story. I'm gonna have to come back to the story. It turns out that, so today we know a judge has been arrested. Now, I want to remind you of what General Mkhwanazi said on the 6th, which then resulted in the judicial reacting in the manner that they reacted. When Mkhwanazi spoke about the fact that there is a corruption within the judiciary. Here.
And I can confirm before the South Africans today that the investigation which these members were involved with in Gauteng has unmasked the syndicate. And this syndicate involves, amongst others, politicians who are currently serving in Parliament. the law enforcement officers include the members of the South African Police Service, the Metro Police, and Correctional Services. They include prosecutors in Gauteng province, the Judiciary, and all these are controlled by the drug cartel as well as business people in that province of Gauteng.
Okay, now let's go. You have heard General Mkhwanazi speaking about this thing. Now, I want us to look at things from a different perspective yet again. Right. So, two things. Today, or not long ago, a letter was sent on the 14th, right? Sent to this journalist. They then said, this letter is this letter is my unreserved response as the journalist Modibe Julius Modiba to affirm demand dated 14 November concerning reporting on an alleged judicial corruption involving your client, Judge Dipuo Paslan. Let me be absolutely clear. I reject every demand set out in the letter, including the removal of any of my publication from the social media platform X. The demand to the case further public disclose, further public disclose, and the requirement of a commitment to silence. These demands are not about protecting reputation. They are a transparent attempt to suppress legitimate investigative journalism that exposes corruption at the highest level of South African judiciary. So sorry, I said it was him responding to them and say, I'm not going to back down. No matter what you guys are doing, I'm not going to back down. So things happened. The judge got arrested. Now, this is as the picture was posted by the very same by the very same journalist, that this is the judge that actually got arrested today. This is the judge that is in question as of us speaking. So you then have to say, I mention a judge as well as a pastor. Who is this pastor that was arrested? Well, this is the pastor that is said to have been part and parcel of these shenanigans that are going on. So he will be the pastor that has been arrested. But confirmation will be given because if they are arrested today, I presume that they will also appear before court today. Now, I'm going to keep you posted about this. But as I keep you posted, I want to remind you of the judicial's response to General Mkhwanazi after he released a statement on the 6th of July, or after that press briefing. They created they insinuated that judges can never be corrupt. That's their insinuation. On the 10th of July 2025, they released a media statement saying the following: the judiciary reacted to Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's accusation of wrongdoing in the judicial. Now, please note that the judicial has noted with serious concern the recent remark made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi of the South African Police Service during his media briefing on Sunday, 6 July 2024, which he alleged collusion between, amongst others, the judicial and criminals. Such claim made without without substantiation are extremely damaging to the public confidence in the response and integrity of our courts, fundamental pillar of our constitutional democracy. Judicial officers, now this is where it gets interesting. Judicial officers are bound by judicial oath or solemn affirmation of office to uphold, protect the Constitution and the human rights enshrined in it, and to administer justice to all persons alike without fear and favor or prejudice, in accordance with the Constitution and the law. As such, any suggestion of improper within the judicial is treated with an utmost gravity. In this regard, the acting Secretary General of the Office of the Chief Justice has formally requested the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service and Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, to furnish the evidence in support of this allegation and to lodge a formal complaint where warranted with the Judicial Service Commission (JSC) and the Magistrate Commission. These bodies are constitutionally and statutorily mandated to investigate complaints against judicial officers. The JSC derives its authority from Section 178 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996. Read with the Judicial Service Commission Act 1994, bracket Act 9 of 1994. Further, Magistrate Commission operates under the Magistrate Act 1993, Act 90 of 1993. Both institutions have established mechanism to address allegation of misconduct, ensuring due processes and fairness. Okay. The Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, said, "The judicial stand firm in its commitment to accountability and the rule of law. If any person, including Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, has credible evidence of unlawful or unethical conduct committed by a member of the judicial, they are urged to report such matters to the legal mandated structure of the state. Unsubstantiated allegation, however, regrettably undermine the administration of justice and weaken the public trust in our institutions, which are essential in upholding our constitutional democracy. Judicial reaffirm its unwavering dedication to justice, transparency, and the principle enshrined in our constitution. Should any judicial officer be found to have acted unlawfully or unethical, appropriate action must be taken without any hesitation. The judicial remain resolute in its duty to serve all South Africans with impartiality and integrity." Now, the bottom line that I wanted to show you here, I wanted to show you that when you read the letter, I remember listening to a lot of people who were complaining that the judicial posted this letter and closed the comment section. Why? Because they knew that people were coming for them, right? Okay. You say, okay, let's reserve that. Let's put that aside. So having done all of those things, having done all of the things that are mentioned here, read the spirit of the letter. The spirit of the letter doesn't necessarily say, oh, Mkhwanazi, we hear what you are saying. You might have evidence. Okay, my man, let's find a way of addressing that. The spirit of the letter, it came from this point of, we are going to defend, and I'm wondering today, do they have anything to defend now? Now that some judicial officers have been arrested, and some will be arrested, the spirit of the letter even then showed us that they want to portray a picture of judicial officers are bound by the oath of office, as if the oath of office works miraculous things on the conscience of a person. I honestly believe that in any institution, every institution I mean, there will be those rotten potatoes, but there will be people who stand firm on principle. I honestly believe that. So to then assume that just because it's South African Police Service, therefore they are corrupt, and it should be okay for us to call them corrupt, but equally so, when there is evidence you can't call judicial officers corrupt, I find it very weird and odd. It's okay for us to call politicians corrupt, but it's not okay for us to call private people in the private sector corrupt. I find that very weird. If people have the right to call politicians corrupt, police corrupt, they should also have the right to call people of private sector corrupt. Equally so, judicial officers corrupt, provided obviously they have the evidence. What I'm against here is the hostility towards Mkhwanazi. Instead of approaching it from a perspective of, hey, what if there's evidence? So let's approach it in a neutral way. No, there was hostility. That's why whenever there is an arrest of any members of judicial, we will always quote this letter. I did say even then that what the judicial is doing here, it's overreacting. Because when a member of judicial shall be arrested, we'll revert back to this letter. What am I doing today? Back to this letter. They needed to find a way in which they are going to, how best can I say this? They needed to find a very good way of responding to matters, such that they will not be compromised in the future. Because right now, if you just decide to take them and say, hey, according to your letter, judicial are bound by what oath of office, so therefore you insinuated that they can never be corrupt. What is this? A magistrate, look, a whole judge is arrested. What's your take now? A magistrate, by the way, I think it was around Pretoria or what, was also arrested not long ago. I did a video about that. You see what I'm trying to say?